Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Taylor should be connect with Nick. This one question is roving around far and wide. Eric has an emotional warning for Ridge. We've always known that Eric has been Ridge and Brooke's biggest cheerleader. Eric told Taylor that he was happy for her about the engagement. Still, that wasn't fully true. Ever since learning about the Ridge engagement, Eric has been pushing Ridge to reunite with Brooke. Despite Ridge's warnings to stay out of his love life, Eric will give his son another emotional warning. Taylor really wants Nick and Brooke to reignite their love. The psychologist reasons that it's her stylish chance of hanging on to Ridge. Not much of a relationship. Taylor will want details on how Nick's progress with Brooke is going. Taylor prompted Donna to get her the information, but she refused. Taylor also just learned that a lot of people are still Team Ridge. It seems that Nick and Taylor could make some kind of deal. Eric gives Ridge an emotional warning. Liam and Steffi bond over his near-death experience. Liam and Steffi to have a heart-to-heart. Liam will open up about springing in front of Luna to save Steffi's life. Liam might also talk about the phenomenon he just went through. It's teased that Steam will bond, but that doesn't inescapably mean it'll be romantically. Finn fixated on Grace's secrets, anything can be. Perhaps Finn will be so distracted that he won't notice the red flags between Broom. Still, and Liam excrescence was fake, someone will demand answers. If Grace truly did pull off a fiddle. But the most furious person in Liam's close circle will pour out his wrath on Grace. Bill paid $1 million to get relief of a fake excrescence. The other croakers who worked with Liam, Finn and Bridget are formerly suspicious and asking a lot of questions. Bridget was worried Grace inked off on Liam being released, and both she and Finn are wondering how Liam's inoperable excrescence was removed, experimental procedure or not. Finn did admit to Bill that he'd seen the most recent MRI checkup done on Liam after his experimental procedure, and agreed it was clear, Bill calling it a phenomenon. But they can't get over how unusual it was for an inoperable excrescence to be removed with no ill goods in the case. And neither Finn nor Bridget had ever heard of this croaker that supported Grace in this clinic Liam was taken to. Finn gets in on the reservations about Grace and what really happened to Liam. Both he and Bridget flash back how fugitive she was when Liam was first brought into the sanitarium. She didn't want anyone differently on Liam's case, and all the former MRI reviews were putatively done in secret, and Liam was being given a whole lot of capsules. Liam had stayed with Finn and Steffi for important of his time, because Finn wanted to keep an eye on him. Finn wasn't involved with the family when Grace's hubby Reese and others intrigued in the case of Beth, but he knows the story. Through important study of Liam's records, and especially the MRI scans done at their sanitarium, Bridget and Finn break the riddle and Grace is in a mound of trouble. She falsified Liam's records and shifted another case's reviews for Liam's, to what end is unclear. But since Bill paid for the surgery, they speak to him in private. They'll deal with Grace's medical misbehavior through medical channels. It's agreed not to trouble Liam or anyone differently in his family with the fraud, but Bill gashes into Grace. It's too late to get back his $1 million, but the fiscal records will surely be used in court. Lee and Sheila bond over Luna. Cleric explodes. Plus, Eric pushes Ridge to get back together with Brooke. Brooke and Ridge tell Eric about Liam phenomenon. Eric mentions that a life and death situation really brings perspective. They bring up the trip to Italy. There are a bunch of ground flashbacks. Brooke declares she wants to bring along Nick. Ridge says he's not invited. Brooke exits, so the men yap about how much they detest Nick. Ridge gets after his father for trying to play matchmaker. He's committed to Taylor and they've children. Eric would stay out of his son's life if he'd a brain. The primogenitor mentions that Nick is swarming around Brooke like a shark. Nick stops by to see Brooke. He reminds her that Ridge is marrying Taylor. Nick is allowing easily and each he wants is Brooke. Nick tries to give her pledges and love. He jokes that Brooke could indeed wear his captain's chapeau. Brooke goes back to Ridge's office. She reminds him of the keyhole and all that jazz. Italy would remind her of that, and wants Nick to come. Taylor is always swarming around him. Ridge's aunt saying she can't move on, just not with Nick. Brooke brings up that they always reunite, including when in magical Italy. It all began with that misreading over the CEO position. She was trying to help him, not betray him. Brooke begs him to come back to her. Nick is on the phone while glancing at Brooke on the cover of the magazine. Cleric and Sheila are talking. She brings up Liam's cancer. Lee appears and says Liam got a phenomenon. Sheila mentions Luna, which makes Cleric explode. Lee defends Luna, saying she didn't have a chance with Poppy as her mama. Sheila asks if there will be an honorary service. Lee says it's formerly been handled. Sheila is burdened that she no way got the chance to say goodbye. Liam Musketeers and family will stay eagerly for news about his cancer. However, also Liam will get a new parcel on life if Grace Million Bone. Surgery was a success. Who'll Bill's son spend his time with now that he's not going anywhere? Could Hope be the lucky lady? There's a veritably real chance that Grace conned Bone Bill, and Liam still has cancer. But, if by chance she really did remove his excrescence and miraculously cure him, that means Liam Spencer is back on the request. Carter will begin growing intolerant and start obliging Hope to set a marriage date, or at least begin looking at dresses for their big day. Rather, Hope will prefer spending her time nursing her ex-husband back to health and contending with Steffi to be the most important person in his life. Carter isn't the first man to try and put a ring on Hope's cutlet since she resolved from Liam. Before Thomas left city, he tried to get Hope to commit to him and she shut him down multiple times. We believed the only reason Hope said yes to Carter was because she allowed. Liam was dying. Now that her partner isn't going anywhere, will Hope still want to walk down the aisle and say I do? Before Hope and Carter got together, Liam was trying to win Hope back. Now that he nearly failed, will Hope's passions about a Hop reunion change? Nick's been concentrated on Brooke despite he meets with his other ex-wife, Taylor. The two have a lot catching up to do, and Taylor tells Nick that she and Ridge are engaged. Nick seems pleased by the news and says this should put an end to the Brooke and Ridge redo thing. Nothing would love to see Bridge over for good than Nick and Taylor. Will the two get their want or are they fated for broken hearts? Eric formally again tries to move Ridge that he belongs with Brooke. Ridge has been adamant that his future is with Taylor, not Brooke. Yet, the Forrester primogenitor refuses to believe it. He knows Ridge loves Brooke and they're fated to be together. The only person in this world for you is Brooke, Eric tells his son. Will Eric's words have Ridge redefining his decision? Latterly, Finn is at the sanitarium telling Bridget about Liam's surgery. Thanks to Grace's procedure, Liam's excrescence was removed and he's going to live. Bridget is shocked, yet happy with the news. That's until Finn voices his reservations. Finn is skeptical over Liam's miraculous recovery and says there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Finn's hunt for answers takes him to Grace's office, where he looks at Liam's MRI. Will Finn find suggestions that Grace is lying about Liam's excrescence? Sheila is mourning her granddaughter, but she's also celebrating surviving Luna. Why celebrate alone when she can check in with the other survivor? She turns up at the Spencer manse to see Liam and see how he's coming on. Will Liam be open to seeing the she-devil? Let's face it, he's not exactly her biggest addict. In fact, he presumably wishes Luna's shot did way more damage to the maniac. Tune in to see how this visit goes. Nick turns up to see Taylor at the Forrester estate. These former spouses have a lot in common and presumably a lot to talk about. She's got Ridge locked down and committed to her, and he's trying to do the same with Brooke. Can they keep Ridge and Brooke from slipping back into old habits and chasing their fortune?